So you're going to start by filling a saucepan with about 1 inch of water. Then you'll just start plucking off dandelion heads and dropping them into your pan of water. Keep picking dandelions until you have the entire bottom of the pan covered. There's usually a few ladybugs crawling around in the dandelions, so you just want to let the dandelions sit in the water for a few minutes and ladybugs will crawl to the top, and then you can just shake them off and return them harmlessly to the environment. You just want to heat up the pan of dandelions on low until it starts bubbling. So while your dandelions are cooking, just get your jar ready by taking a clean piece of fabric and a very tight rubber band and rubber banding it to the top. Then make a little pocket in there for you to drain the mixture into. Once the water starts bubbling, you want to take it off the burner right away. If you leave it on, it'll change the color of the dye. Push the pan around a little and check to see if the water has a golden hue. If it does, then the dandelions are ready. If not, just put them back on the stove for a few more minutes. Pour the mixture into your strainer, flower heads and all, and just leave it to sit there to cool for a few minutes. When the flowers have cooled enough, you're just going to slip your piece of fabric right over the top, rubber band and all, you can take that out later, and then you just want to squeeze out the rest of what's in the fabric. That'll get you a little bit of extra dye. And you may end up with yellow fingers after this too, but it washes off after a little bit. You just want to add about 1/2 cup of rubbing alcohol to prevent bacteria from forming your newly made dye. Then just seal it up, and you can store it in the fridge for a couple months. And then you can see this is a beautiful golden color, and it'll turn your soap the exact same color. And you really don't want to store this for more than a couple months, so what I usually do is, if it's starting to get close to the time when I should throw it out, I dye a whole bunch of soap with the rest of my dye, and that way I've got yellow soap and I can just melt that down later to make more yellow soap. That way you get to keep the dye all through the year without having to worry about the dye going bad. You can use this for soap or yarn. It's a very versatile dye, and it does produce a very beautiful golden color. After a day or two, the dye mixture may turn green, but that's perfectly normal. It's just the color of the dye, but when you actually put it in something, it still dyes everything yellow. The heat reactivates the yellow color. You just want to make sure that you shake it up before you use it, because the sediment all falls to the bottom. You want to make sure that's in there to give your soap or your yarn or whatever you're dyeing the appropriate golden color. And this is a bar of soap where I dyed the center using my dandelion soap dye.